Good morning friends, welcome to The Point. In this video we will discuss two types of poverty, that is absolute poverty and relative poverty. Start with what absolute poverty is. Before reading out the slide as to what is written here, I would like to discuss an example that would bring more clarity, and then we will jump to as to what is written here. So for an example, whatever the amount you need to spend for fulfilling basic necessities of life, for example food, shelter, health, clean drinking water, education. Now if we sum it up and the amount comes to let's say 6,000 rupees an year, okay, so that is the minimum amount that you need to spend to fulfill all of these basic necessity. So if I decide this as a poverty line, and any person or any family, let's suppose the 6,000 per year is per individual that an individual needs to spend, and any person spending less than 6,000 a year on this will be considered as person living below the poverty line, okay, and anyone spending above this is definitely not in poverty. So in this absolute poverty, what we do is, whatever the amount we need to spend to fulfill the basic necessities of life, as I have told you these things, we sum it up and come to a common figure, and then we decide as to who is under the poverty and who is above the poverty. Here in the case of absolute poverty, we do not make comparison between the income levels of different individuals and different country. It is just that we calculate one common figure, and depending upon that figure we decide the level of poverty in the country. Now we will just quickly go through the slide. It occurs when household income is below a certain level, which makes it impossible for the person or family to meet the basic needs of life, including food, shelter, safe drinking water, education, healthcare, etc. This type of poverty compares household based on said income level, and this level varies from country to country depending on its overall economic conditions. Yes, as a first thing, as I told, this type of poverty compares household based on said income level. We have set one parameter, and then based on this parameter we decide as to who all are living below the poverty. And this level varies from country to country. How it varies from country to country? For an example, there is a developed country, let's say London, and there is a developing country like India. Now the standard of living of both the countries varies a lot, since it is a developing country and the other one is a developed country. For example, if something which is considered as a luxury in India could be as the basic standard of living in London. For example, a high-speed internet is considered still a luxury in India, which is considered as a basic amenity in a developed country like London, USA. So whenever we calculate set income level, it varies from country to country depending upon the standard of living prevailing in that country. As it is written here, so this level varies from country to country depending on its overall economic conditions. Absolute poverty means poverty defined using a universal baseline with no reference to other people's income. Here we don't compare the income from our income with that of the others' income or access to good. The failure of meeting this baseline thus means that the individual is poor. Since there is no comparison, there is just a set predefined figure, and if you are spending less than or your income is less than that predefined figure, then you are under the poverty. As simple as that. Moving on to the next type of poverty, relative poverty. As the term signifies, relative means in relation to another. So in relative poverty, what we do is we compare our income to that of the others. For an example, you are a college going person and you have a group of friends over there. Now all of your friends are traveling through four-wheeler, or they are having their personal four-wheeler to come to a college, whereas you just have a two-wheeler. They are having iPhones, whereas you are using Redmi. Okay, now what you would feel is you would feel relatively deprived as compared to your friends, because they all are having four-wheelers and they are having iPhones, and whereas you are just traveling by two-wheeler and having a Redmi phone. So what do you feel, or how would you feel? That you are relatively deprived, though you are not under the poverty, since you are having access to mobile phone and having a personal vehicle to travel to college. But when you compare your income or your expenditure to your friends, then you would feel, yes, I am poor as compared to these people. So in case of relative poverty, it is the feeling of relative deprivation that makes you feel under the poverty line, whereas in real you are not living under the poverty. So we will go through the definition. Relative poverty refers to the standard of living compared to economic standard of living with the same surrounding, because you are here comparing your income and expenditure to that of the people in your surrounding. This is different from absolute poverty in the sense that in this case comparison is made between the person having access to normal facilities and opportunities with those who are financially left behind. Because what we were doing in absolute poverty, there was preset income that we were considering as a baseline, and those people who are not able to gather this much amount also, or just not able to fill their basic necessities of life, are considered under the below poverty line. Whereas in the case of relative poverty, you have all the amenities, you are studying in a good college, but what if you compare yourself to others, you are not using those swanky things as your friends are, so you are feeling relatively deprived. Relative poverty is sometimes described as relative deprivation because the people falling under this category are not living in total poverty, as you are not doing in that example, but they are not enjoying the same standard of life as everyone else in the country. It could be TV, internet, clean clothes, a safe home, a healthy environment free from abuse or neglect, or even the education. Let's suppose you are studying in a government college or a government school, whereas your friends or people living in your society are going to some private college or private school, or let's suppose they are having LEDs in their home and you are just having a flat screen TV. So there's a lot of difference in what absolute poverty and relative poverty is, and I hope you would be able to get this with the examples that I've explained you. So these two topics were very short, and this is all for the today's video, my friends. Just keep revising as to what I teach you in these videos. Try to memorize things through examples. That would make your life certainly very easy. So yeah, friends, this is all for the today's video. Stay fit, stay at home. Thank you so much.